Minakos Night Market is a narrative-driven sim game that's equal parts management, relationships, cooking, and cats. Well, it's mostly cats. In this relaxing rural Japanese town, you'll set up crafts, complete quests, and cook goodies for the weekly night market. The heavy task of rebuilding the struggling Inaki village falls on Minako, and you'll be able to see the town grow in response to your efforts. Be ready to solve puzzles, play minigames, befriend the townsfolk, and manage your business to maximum efficiency when it comes to all platforms later this year. In Maquette, the newest from indie powerhouse Annapurna Interactive, you'll dive into a first-person recursive puzzle game that has you questioning what direction you're even moving in. Taking inspiration from MC Escher, Maquette takes place in a world where everything becomes bigger the farther you go out, and smaller the more you go in. You'll solve puzzles big and small, sometimes both, to help the narrating protagonists along in their budding romance. This is a game about turning insurmountable real-life obstacles into manageable puzzles. After all, every puzzle has a solution. Maquette comes to PS4, PS5, and PC later this year. You might be getting a little tired of battle royales, but Nautica Bladepoint offers an interesting new take on the genre. 60 warriors drop into an open-world island armed with a sword, a grappling hook, and unique superpowers. You can climb any surface, wall run on anything, and grapple your way across any chasm. Movement is unlimited. Think of Spellbreak with tighter combat. The world of Nautica is inspired by a swath of Asian cultures all the way from India to Korea. Look for it on PC, Xbox One, and PS4 this summer. A Juggler's Tale is a Tim Burton-inspired 2D adventure game. Abby, a puppet, escapes from the circus that has held her captive and explores the mystical world she's looked upon with longing her whole life. Led by a narrating puppet master named Jack, who may or may not have Abby's best interests at heart, she navigates through a world of bandit camps, monsters, starving citizens, and deadly traps. Will Abby ever truly be free so long as you, the player, keep pulling her strings? Find out in this fascinating examination of free will when it comes to PC later this year. Raf Colantonio and Julian Roby, best known as the creators of the critically acclaimed Dishonored franchise, have started their own company, Wolf Eye Studios. While the isometric western setting may not look familiar, the core gameplay tenets are still an immersive sim. Weird West is all about being given a set of tools with which to explore a multifaceted world, being faced with a series of obstacles, and using your resourcefulness to outsmart the developers. If you've played Dishonored or Prey, you'll know exactly what to expect when it comes to PC later this year. Just maybe with more cowboy hats. With all the road trip games coming out this year, you'd be forgiven for missing out on Dustborn. But here's why you shouldn't. In this action-adventure title, you'll lead a band of misfits on a road trip across a post-apocalyptic America, chased by everything from the government to cultists to killer robots. You're an ex-con with a package to deliver across the country, but there's a small hitch. You're 4 months pregnant. You and your trusty crew will need to utilize subterfuge, manipulation, and force to make it across the country alive in this tale of love, death, betrayal, and lots of robots when it comes to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S later this year. The unique and beautiful art style of the Book of Travels has caught our attention, but the game concept underneath is fascinating as well. This MMO will let you build a character to your liking and then unleash you onto a world too big to ever see all of. The braided shore is so large, in fact, that you'll almost never see another human, even though the entire game is online. But when you do, it's a meeting of the fates. There's no overarching goal, no beginning and end, and no quest to complete. Travelers should look for the Book of Travels in spring 2021 on PC, Mac, and Linux. Anno Mutationum is a 2.5D action-adventure RPG set in a cyberpunk world. The protagonist, Anne, will traverse a highly detailed near-future world where megacorporations rule, mysterious cybercults pull the strings, and cyborg monsters lurk in the shadows. With a wide variety of weapons, grenades, acrobatics, and mods, Anne and her best friend Ayane will take on the Man and uncover the dark secrets of Metropolis. If Cyberpunk 2077 didn't quite meet your expectations, make sure to check out Anno Mutationum on PC or PS4 this year. If you've been waiting for a weird one, your wait is over. Grime is a hardcore action platformer RPG, unrelenting and unforgiving, that plunges the player into a disturbing world where indescribable monsters wait around every turn. You'll fight with a living weapon that transforms during battle, and using your black hole superpowers, you'll then consume the monsters you kill to mutate your weapon further. Grime is all about anatomical horror, fear of the indescribable, and ultra-hard combat. Skill progression is based entirely around which monsters you fight, so pick your fights wisely. You are what you kill. Look for it on PC this year. It's summer 1996 in an alternate dystopian reality. Finally, it's time to escape. In this adventure game, you'll hitchhike your way across the country, but every time you hit an exit on the highway, a new choice opens up. The entire game is procedurally generated, so you'll never have the same road trip twice, and you'll meet a wide cast of characters who will interact with you differently, depending on your actions each run. It's almost like a roguelike game with no combat. It's all about decisions. We'll just have to wait and see what awaits our protagonist at the end of the road when it comes to PC in 2021. Predictably, Annapurna Interactive returns to our list with The Last Stop from the creators of the critically acclaimed Virginia. Players will control 3 separate characters in a third-person adventure game as a series of supernatural happenings cause their worlds to collide. You'll make decisions that will critically alter the story, and what's more, it features an original soundtrack by BAFTA award-winning composer Lyndon Holland, performed by the Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. Last Stop is definitely a game for fans of Life is Strange. You can find it on PC, PS4, and Xbox One this year. As a huge Zelda fan, Baldo is hitting all the right buttons for me so far. With art inspired directly by Studio Ghibli and gameplay that is essentially just the classic 3D Zelda games with splashes of Breath of the Wild, this action-adventure RPG has big shoes to fill. Meet interesting creatures, fight original monsters, explore dungeons, get to know the townsfolk, cook up some hearty meals, take down crazy bosses, and more, when this beautiful RPG comes to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch this year. Venba is speaking to me a little more personally than it will for most, but I think it's still worth looking into for everyone. Venba emigrates with her family from India to Canada in the 1980s and begins the heavy task of transitioning to Western life. In this narrative-driven adventure, you'll cook up authentic South Indian dishes, navigate branching dialogue conversations, and enjoy authentic Indian music. To me, it's highly reminiscent of what my grandmother must have gone through when she moved to the United States from India in the 60s. Find this wholesome adventure story on PC in late 2021.
Why would it be my father's dying wish to send me to the borderlands?
You, Alex, are officially home.
My lord,
What is it?
Odedan riders from the northwest.
Wait here, Alex.
Uncle? Uncle!
From an innovation standpoint, The Veil is the most impressive game on this list. You'll play as a blind girl during the Renaissance with no visuals on screen. This is a game with combat, exploration, dialogue trees, and more, and it's all audio. I played the demo for The Veil, which is on Steam right now, and I was blown away with how the concept worked. A blind and sighted person could play this game the exact same way. And it's fun and intriguing. You'll have to play with headphones, but you can hear where enemies are around you and engage in sword fights with them perfectly competently.
No. He stays with us.
From one second born to another, it's not an easy thing being in someone's shadow.
The Veil comes to PC in 2021. Whether you're blind or sighted, I implore you to check it out. I hope you found something here you didn't know about before that's piqued your interest. If so, throw us a like and subscribe to us here at GameLuster for more stuff like this in the future and everything else gaming.